Bring your appetite and feed your passion.
Love my style and I'm dancing tonight. My smile from pearly white side. Love myself, love my style, pearly white. Love your smile. From teens to grown-ups braces, they can change your life. All ages and all faces. Your smile from pearly white. Love yourself, love your style, pearly white. Love your smile.
Good morning and welcome. It's Morning Coffee, the Friday edition at our brand new time. Yes, Eastern Time at 9:30 a.m. It's so nice to be with you. I'm Bob Charger here on RVN TV, and I've got an exciting guest today. I want to introduce to you the world of modeling and television and commercials and another business that she's going to tell you about in just a bit. And DeSantis, so nice to meet you.
So good to be here.
Okay, just welcome to RVN TV here in Morning Coffee.
Thank you.
Okay, I know you're kind of used to some of this because when you're on camera, you're doing all these different commercials and stuff.
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit here and there, right?
That's right.
So, as you and I discovered, that I always thought that you began like young, like when you were in your teen years or childhood, because I know a lot of folks do this throughout their life and then they change positions. But all this happened to you in the latter part of your life. So before we talk about your professional career, tell me a little bit about yourself and for our viewers here at Morning Coffee.
Sure, yes. Basically, I am in my mid-50s, and I was a stay-at-home mom for years. I have two daughters. I've been married for almost 30 years.
Wonderful.
And I have two college-age daughters.
Nice.
And I actually homeschooled my daughters, too. I was
really?
home for about 20 years. And within the last 5 years or so, that's when I started to, think about getting involved in something. And that's when, this came along, getting involved in
You're saying that,
modeling and acting.
my husband and I raised a family, and now they're beginning their lives, and now what's our next chapter? And
That's
when you
right.
said, you know what, I think it's time for me. Am I right?
Yes.
There you go.
That's exactly right. I guess it was about 5 years or so ago that my mom had a friend and saw a picture of me on social media.
Right.
And basically, this was a photographer, said, there's some opportunities for, say, 40-plus actors and models.
Yes, there is.
For commercials.
Yes.
And at that time, she had another connection with a talent agency, and I met with the talent agency. I got trained,
Right.
and then little by little started doing some, acting commercials.
So
And,
let me
that
ask
was
you.
about 4 or 5 years ago.
So here you are, being filmed in front of all these people with no experience with this, and then you see the final product. What was that feeling like?
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the one thing that I learned was I didn't realize that there was like a time frame that it takes quite a bit of time
Yes, yes, it
until those commercials and the print work comes out. So you could wait a year sometimes, depending on what you're doing, before you actually see the commercial or the
Yes.
advertisement.
What happens is the agency will call for the casting people, which was you and whoever else was in the film, and then they do the dry run-throughs. They finally film it, and then that film is passed on to the advertisers. It's passed through consultants and marketing people to see if everybody seems to fit the image and the commercial spot that they want them there. That's why it takes so long.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. In the meantime, prices could change on the product,
That's
or
true.
someone passed away. I mean, a lot of things happen within a 1 year time period. So you finally saw your first commercial spot, and what happened after that?
Well, I saw that, and
Yes.
that was very,
Yes.
the first one I did was an infomercial.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever heard of, there are coloring books, like adult coloring books.
Okay.
That was like the first one that I did.
That's fine. Did you hold the product up too?
Hold the product
Yeah,
up.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
took my little
Yeah.
colored pencils and
Sure,
colored
sure.
in. And
Nice.
So that was kind of the very first thing I did, and it was online, like an online and TV commercial. So, and then from there, I got into doing some print work. I've done quite a few pharmaceutical commercials.
I was going to have you scheduled during the
Yes.
summer, and when we contacted you, you had said, Bob, I'm going to be out of town. I've got to do this, this, and this. I said, you know what? You're a yes? Great. I'll have you on my show coming up down the road. And I'm so happy we had a chance to schedule you today.
Thank
That's
you.
great. What else is going on as far as within the world of what you're doing? Like other commercials or spots or different things like that?
Yeah, there's always auditions. You know, the agency that I work with Plaza 7 Talent. They're in King of Prussia, PA, which is not far from where I'm located. You know, they will come to me with auditions, whether they be, you know, there's a lot of internet ads too these days, you know, not just TV.
Very much so, very much so. Years ago, that was magazine and print.
Exactly. They still refer to it as print
Yeah,
sometimes.
print
You still
ads.
hear
Yes.
those
Yes.
words, print. But you know, you'll go on so many auditions, and you know, you'll hear back maybe a week or two later, a few
Well,
days later sometimes.
I was a guest on the Veronica with the V's show on Tuesday morning. I was her guest a couple weeks ago. And I talked about the casting calls, where I get the call from the agent and says, Bob, guess what? I'm going to have you there Tuesday at 10 a.m. and you're going to do blah, 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 blah. So you think you got the part. So the door opens up and you go, oh my God, there's 80 people ahead of me here. I'm here at 10 a.m. Now it's 4
Exactly.
o'clock in the afternoon.
happened.
And they're down to like 25 left. And I say, you know what, I'm going to call it a day. But in your case, you've been pretty fortunate enough to have the audition and go right in and do the commercial. That's a lot
Yes,
easier.
yeah, it's been so interesting. You know, the one thing I really like about it is you meet so many interesting people wherever you go. Most of, you know, I live in the Philadelphia area, so, you know, the market here is Philadelphia and New York, and sometimes
Yes.
Wilmington, Delaware.
Atlantic City too.
Or,
now.
right?
Sure, yeah.
And sometimes, you know, there could even be opportunities in Maryland or Washington,
Oh, yes,
D.C.
yes.
But most of the work I do is in the area that I live in, which is, you know, the Philadelphia area.
I travel
and
the furthest,
sometimes New
yeah.
York. I've been on some television shows for background work with Central Casting,
Okay.
Blue Bloods, Law and Order, you know, those shows. That's fun. It's a fun day just to be on the set and be able to, you know, see what it's like to produce a television program.
Exactly right.
And be a part of it.
Now, for
So-
our viewers here at home, as I mentioned, Anne got involved in this business rather later in life.
Yes.
As a young person, as in her teens or 20s, you know.
I was 48.
Yeah, 48
Yeah,
when she
I'll be
started.
54 my next birthday coming up.
There you go.
And you know, it was funny because, you know, it's like you have to put almost like putting your trust in God, and the fact for me that
Yes.
I was home 20 years. I mean, my husband had a good enough job that I was able to be home.
Nice.
But, you know, there are some people that, hey, aren't you going to get back to work at some
Yeah,
point?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and I didn't know what I was going to do. And this all just kind of happened. And then I got involved in something else, which I know we'll talk
Yeah, we'll
about
talk
a little
about
bit.
that later in the show here too.
So it's just been really fun. And also, I'm involved in writing as well. I'm a contributor for a couple websites too. So that's another thing that I've been involved
Your
in.
resume said
Yes.
author, actress, and modeling.
Yes.
So, how about the author? Where do you get involved with that?
Well, I'm involved with two websites. One is CatholicMom.com
Okay.
and Catholic365, because part of, you know, I'm involved in a foundation.
Yes, we
And-
talked about that.
Yeah, so that's, you know, where I do my writing.
It
A
sounds-
monthly contributor.
Sounds like your day is rather filled. It sounds
Yes,
so.
it
Okay?
is.
There you go. Tell you what, we're going to take a little break here on Morning Coffee on RVN TV, and we'll have more with Anne DeSantis, a fascinating career, and I want to hear more about it, and I'm sure you do too. Okay.
For independent living for seniors age 62 and over, People Inc. offers safe, maintenance-free apartments across Western New York. The affordable rent is income-based. For more information, call People Inc. Senior Living at 817-9090.
In a world where bankers have lost all interest, where robots and fat cats rule our fortunes, one woman will stand up and strive to do the impossible. Be treated like a person. Friends and neighbors will join her quest. Ordinary people will band together against the forces of corporate greed. and together they will form Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, already in a neighborhood near you.
Assurance. It's a word, a touch, a look that sparks a feeling. Peace of mind that everything will be all right. These are the moments that inspire us to do more than you'd ever expect from a car insurance company at a price that's less than you'd expect. This is more than just insurance. This is Plymouth Rock Assurance. Visit us at PlymouthRock.com.
And welcome back to more Morning Coffee here on RVN TV. This is the Friday edition of the show, and I'm Bob Charger with a very special guest today, Aunt DeSantis, who is first of all a mother, and she's a model, she's an actress, she's an author, and she's also involved with the foundation. But Aunt, there's only 24 hours in a day, so how do you get all this in, you know? In our first part of the program, we were talking about the fact that besides doing modeling and commercials, you also were involved in television, half-hour shows, Law and Order for one. Tell our viewers here on the Morning Coffee about what it was like to be on a television set for a national show. What time did you arrive in the morning on the set?
Well, I'm trying to think because I did it a few times. I think it was like kind of mid-morning.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
But when you work with Central Casting, which is it's a national organization,
Yes,
Central
yes,
Casting.
yes.
They do a lot of background work for different TV shows. You're supposed to set out like 10 to 12 hours, meaning you just don't know how long.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Absolutely. I mean, that's normal.
Right,
Sure. Yeah.
right. It could be very early, it could be late. But luckily when I did it, I got out of there by a pretty good time.
Well,
so.
you were pretty lucky, because I can tell you right now, in the world of acting and in television or whatever, it's always wait. I
Yes.
became very friendly with a gentleman named David Jansen, who was the big actor back in the 60s of The Fugitive. And I would go to these TV conventions, and unfortunately he passed away in 1980, 48 years of age, because of a harsh, rough lifestyle. But some of the other folks who worked with him on the television series The Fugitive, they said he was diligent. He arrived at 5 a.m., studied his script. When he was called to do his part, got it down perfect, and then that was it. It's all about piecework. You know, you come in, you do your thing, boom. And so how many episodes of Law and Order did you do?
I did 2, yeah. I just did it last season, and I hope to do it again this season. I've just been a little bit busier because there's always opportunities. You get emails, when you're a member of something called Casting Networks.
Yes,
That's
yes.
one of the big
Sure.
casting agencies. And, tons of emails a day that you can kind of choose and look and see, hey, do I want to apply for that opportunity?
That sounds
it's so great.
interesting. It's something like
Do
that.
it right off my phone,
Yeah, isn't that amazing? The
Yeah.
other thing, you said you were involved in 2 other shows, and then I want to talk about the motion TV movie. So what were the other 2 shows that you were in?
Well, Blue Bloods was another one
Right.
as background work.
Okay.
And I got to play the role of a doctor for one.
Yes.
And the other one was a assistant district attorney.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. And then the other one was a show called The Jury Speaks. And that was a show that was about the O.J. Simpson trial.
Was that in timing of the anniversary?
Yes, it was in timing with the anniversary.
And I know who you played, but tell our Morning Coffee viewers
Yes,
who you wound up playing.
I played Marsha Clark. Now this
She was one of the principals in that
she was.
case.
It was not a speaking role. It was one of those kind of background, like
Yes.
reenactment kind of
Yes,
thing.
yes.
But it was just a great opportunity. And the fact that they did this right in my area was great. I
It
didn't
is.
even have to drive to New York for it.
Well,
so.
they're finding out that this area, more so than traveling to New York or Los Angeles, we offer many opportunities here, whether it's the Philadelphia area, South Jersey, the Shore, there's so many other areas. So for the young viewer out there who is thinking about what to do with their life, tell them how it happened for you, how you went about it. You just, like for them, a casting call, or who would they see if to audition?
Well, if you're out there and you're interested in doing something like this, I think the best place to go would be to find a good talent agency in your area. You know, if you live in Philadelphia, New York, Los Angeles, wherever you're from,
Yes.
try to find a good talent agency. You know, now with Google, I mean, you can
Oh, yeah.
find out what what the rating is on that talent agency or
Yes.
modeling agency. And, you know, because sometimes when I got involved in this, people will say things like, well, be careful, you know, there's some scams out there, you don't know, who to trust. And
Well, with today,
so-
yes. But see, from the days of brick and mortar buildings, you had to physically go to the location. But now they can set up a tent somewhere and casting. But it's true. A
Yes.
lot of them do it on the set. When I did Rocky V, that we weren't in a brick and mortar building. I was actually at this so-called tent. And I showed my Screen Actor Guild card, and I was in. But they had a lot of extras too waiting in line, people, just for backgrounds, it's nice. So really, if you're thinking about doing something like this, take a tip from Ann here, who never even thought about doing it.
I didn't.
And now she's doing it, and that's why you're with
Yes.
me today, because I love people in the business who have fascinating stories to tell. So, with acting, with modeling, now the book, and there's something else that I know you want to share. We're going to take another short break, and then we're going to talk about Ann's other career. Coming up here with more Morning Coffee on RVN TV. You enjoy. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name's Casey Price, host of a brand new show called Everyday Elder Care. My show will help you take the stress out of caring for your elderly loved one by educating you about options and solutions you may not even know exist. Tune in every Tuesday at noon on RVN TV. We'll see you there.
Imagine the finest hand-selected USDA prime steak you'll ever have. The freshest line-caught seafood, our Wine Spectator award-winning wine list, and soul-satisfying desserts. Bring that together with the perfect date, the winning business deal, a memorable family celebration. Welcome to Rod's Steak and Seafood Grill in nearby Morristown, New Jersey. Bring your appetite and feed your passion.
Love my style, I'm dancing tonight. My smile from pearly white side. Love myself, love my style. Pearly white, love your smile. From teens to grown-ups faces, they can change your life. All ages and all faces, your smile from pearly white. Love yourself, love your style. Pearly white, love your smile.
For independent living for seniors age 62 and over, People Inc. offers safe, maintenance-free apartments across Western New York. The affordable rent is income-based.
And Morning Coffee continues here on RVN TV. In fact, our brand new time starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. My guest this morning is Ann DeSantis, who is a model, an actress, and author. And in life, in our quiet times, we have that faith-based opportunity in our life. We pray to our Maker, we pray to someone, and you're a very spiritual person, and you prayed on something, or this opportunity happened for you. How did this next opportunity happen for you?
Thank you. Yes. Well, I just to backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
When I was in my 30s, I was 33, 34.
Right. Way back when.
Yeah.
Way back when. I mean,
20 years ago.
Yeah, I know, it's like a million years ago. Especially when you're not there yet. You think, 30, that's so
That's
old.
right.
That's so old. Yes. Am I right?
Anyway, yeah. Well, long story short, I came to a point in my life where I was sick. I actually had a heart condition after I had my second child.
Really?
And yeah, and I'm happy to say that I'm completely fine, but I really believe in all of my heart that it was because of a lot of prayer. I believe that, that I was healed. I'm completely physically fine. And what happened to me at that point in my life was that it really made me realize the importance of belief in God, belief in, as you said, faith, having faith. And
whoever, I know because I talk to folks from all different walks of life who believe in this religion, that religion, but when it comes down to, they're still praying to their maker, their creator, whatever they feel comfortable with.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so I'm Catholic. That is where my belief system is. And
well, they always say Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic,
which is really
that's
serious
right.
Catholic. You know, people say, "Well, I'm Catholic," but when you say Roman Catholic, I know it's like, okay, you're the real deal. You know.
Yes. Yes. Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic. Yes.
So anyway, I guess this was also within the last couple years.
Yeah.
I'm involved with a specific religious order. It's called the Mercedarian Religious Order. They're headquartered in Philadelphia.
Right.
And that is in the Overbrook section of Philadelphia, since I know you're familiar.
Oh, very much so, Overbrook.
Our Lady of Lourdes Parish.
Yes, Overbrook
Yes.
is, well, when you speak of Philadelphia, I'd say it's about 10 miles away from Philly towards the west.
Yes.
Yes.
So anyway, long story short, I became involved with that church community. They started a new foundation. It's called the St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation. And this is a part of that, that religious order.
Nice.
And the foundation basically, it's making outreach to families that are in crisis, families that are having specific difficulty, whether it be sometimes people who have gone through divorce, separations.
That's so rough. That is so rough.
That kinds of thing.
From what I hear. Yeah.
That's kind of our initial mission, is making outreach. We've done some retreats for people who have gone through divorce and things. So
It's hard.
our website is nonatus.org.
Okay.
www.nonatus.org.
You hear people's cases,
yes.
they come to you and speak to you specifically? They do.
Yes, they do. And our friars, our Mercedarian priests and brothers,
Right.
were located in 4 parts of the country, and one of them is Philadelphia.
Nice. So nice.
Yes.
I know another organization called the Pink Sisters.
Yes.
I'm aware of them. They're Philadelphia-based too.
Okay.
And when we speak about a very diligent lifestyle, I know they're not to speak to anyone. And,
Oh, okay.
chastity and poverty and all
Yes.
that. It's like, wow. So, it's all about life and what we choose. So
That's right.
I would say with you, with the spiritual calling, your life is really complete.
Thank you.
I believe that
It means so
because
much.
I'm a very good reader of people. And I can see through people, but I have a good judge of people. And you're just the real deal. I mean,
Thank you.
you're a good mother. You raised your children. You told me about the children, how you raised them, the fact that this calling happened to you, which when you woke up that day, you never thought in a million years that you would wind up being on television and doing all
No,
these things.
I would not have thought this 5 years ago.
Yeah.
For
yeah.
sure.
Well, like I say, for me it was a lifelong calling, and I'm so happy when I get a chance to meet people who wind up doing whatever they do. And on the Friday edition of Morning Coffee, I have folks from various walks of life. And sometimes I'll lean towards the entertainment field because that's what I'm comfortable with. But I had a gentleman who talked about insurance fraud. I had a children's host on a couple of weeks ago. So on Friday here, we have a little different variation. Yeah. So to the future for you, what do you see? What do you see for the future?
Like, as you said, faith-based,
Yes.
to me, I look up and say, what do you have in mind?
What do you got in plan for me here?
That's right. So
Yeah.
it's wherever, wherever God leads me. I mean, I love this journey that I'm on.
I'm happy for you.
I think the biggest advice I give for myself is living in that present moment, right
Absolutely,
now.
Absolutely. We're here
Because we
live.
just don't
We're here live on
know,
RBN TV.
in our lives,
Yeah.
which direction, and that's something that I've learned.
I've talked to a lot of folks and I say, whoever you pray to, just say a prayer every day for guidance.
Say a prayer.
And look what this led to me. At the wedding that I went to for my niece is how I met Lisa. And then here I am, and now I was following Lisa today. So, I mean, you just never know in life,
That's right. It's a good thing.
Yes, it is. And I always say on my shows, where does that time fly when you're having fun? And I got to tell you, I've enjoyed every moment of this here
I have
on
too.
RBN TV, our Morning Coffee. And you're my very first guest with the brand new time at 9:30 Eastern Time.
It's been a pleasure.
I think it's
thank
great.
you so much.
Oh, I'm, first of all, honored to meet you because I'm just in awe of anybody that follows their dream on something like this. It's really great. So, Ann DeSantis, it's a pleasure. Thank you so very much. So that's it for Morning Coffee here today on RBN TV. And as our broadcast continues all day long, we'll have more shows throughout the day. In fact, I'm going to have Neil Villapiano with the NPV show following us right here on Morning Coffee. Have yourself a great weekend. Bob Charger, that's me, and you take care and have a